At one point in time, Netflix was known for trying to be different in terms of offering content for people to watch at their leisure via the binge watch. And it went to great lengths to try and give people all the kinds of content they felt that they could want, which included things like Stranger Things, Ozark, Voltron Legendary Defender, and more. But in recent times especially, Netflix has not been afraid to go and do various kinds of reality shows to lure people in. And one of the more curious ones came out recently and had people talking for sure. So allow us to show you My Unorthodox Life. Where are they now? The show in a nutshell. As the name implies, the show follows Julia Hart and her life after leaving an Orthodox Jewish community nearly a decade ago. Today, Julia is an influential figure in the world of fashion and a role model to her unique family. Up until 8 years ago, Julia Hart was immersed in a different lifestyle. She emigrated from Russia to the United States as a child and ended up in an Orthodox Jewish community in Monsey called Yeshivishe Hamishe. Hart describes it as a fundamentalist to an extreme community where many liberties were taken from her. She was not allowed to wear pants or drive a car, and much of her life revolved around rigid traditions. While married to Yosef Hendler, Julia had 4 children. Her third child, Miriam, just didn't fit in. She said that the community tried to mold and twist her, but it just wasn't the person Miriam was meant to be. Hart said that this is what inspired her to leave Monsey and Yosef. My Unorthodox Life follows Julia and her family as they adjust to a new way of life after leaving Monsey. So in its own way, it's a show about finding one's true place in the world without trying to be molded by all that came before. A story that would absolutely resonate with certain people who feel out of place, wouldn't you say? So now, let's take a look at the family itself. Julia Hart. Julia is the matriarch of the family on My Unorthodox Life, and she's also the CEO of Elite World Group, which is the largest modeling network in the world. She's worked with internationally recognized celebrities such as Kendall Jenner from Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Not only is Julia influential in the world of fashion, she's influential within her family too. Up until 2020, which is when My Unorthodox Life was filmed, Hart kept her past a secret. I didn't want people to know my story. I didn't want to be a victim, Julia said. I hope that someone would watch this and say, okay, if this crazy bitch did it, I can do it too. Now she wants people to know her story through her Netflix reality series and her upcoming memoir, which is inspiration in its own right. Batsheva Hart and Benjamin Ben Weinstein. Batsheva is Julia's eldest child. When Julia left Monsey, Batsheva was 19 years old and newly married to Benjamin Ben Weinstein. Batsheva is now 28 years old and still married to Ben. He is a licensed real estate broker in New York City, while she is an influencer and model. As depicted on the show, they experienced some challenges in their marriage while adjusting to a life outside of the Orthodox Jewish community that they know so well. Shlomo Hart. Shlomo Hart is Julia's eldest son. When Julia left the community, Shlomo began to question his way of life in Monsey. Later in life, he decided to leave as well. He is now 25 years old and recently graduated from Columbia University. Because of his background, Shlomo hasn't had a lot of dating experience, but he's beginning to put himself out there as shown on My Unorthodox Life. Miriam Hart. Miriam was the child that inspired Julia to leave Monsey. She's Julia's 21-year-old daughter, and recently Miriam came out as bisexual. She's attending Stanford University. While in school, she has built apps designed to empower women. I'm just trying to be myself, Miriam said. That, to me, is what I fought with my mom to do. Aaron Hendler. Aaron is Julia's youngest son, at just 15 years old. As a result of Julia's divorce from Yosef, Aaron divides his time between his mother's home in Tribeca and his father's home in Monsey. He is deeply connected to the Orthodox Jewish community, which saddens Julia because she wants him to see that there are many options in life. Robert Brotherton. Robert is the COO of Elite World Group. He's a longtime friend and professional partner of Julia. Even though he's become a fan favorite of the show, not much is revealed about his life, except his journey to meet his birth mother, which might mean he wants to keep it private or that this will be something revealed should the show get a second season. We might just have to wait to find out on that front. Julia on her life. While we do see much of what happened in Julia Hart's life during the show, she's also been willing to expand upon it in interviews, including where she talked about all the restrictions she had in the Orthodox Jewish faith. I had no friends. I had never gone to college. I didn't know anyone. I never lived in what I call the outside world. That's why so many people from my world, women who leave, they don't make it. They commit suicide. They become drug addicts. And then my community says, oh, you see, they were messed up. That's why they left. But the reality is that they couldn't manage to survive in this world because they weren't equipped to do so. As for doing the show, it took me 8 years before I got up the courage to tell my story. It was a very difficult decision to make because I knew that I would get attacked and vilified, and it would open up me and my family to censure. I had to change my phone number since the show has come out. I've had death threats. It wasn't an easy choice to make, but I chose to do it because whether it's that you live in a restrictive or repressive society or environment, or you're just in a bad marriage, or you would have been told your whole life that you are less than, I felt that it was a story that hopefully can provide other women with inspiration and hope, and I felt that it was something I have to do. Though she also made it clear that she's proud of her Jewish heritage and wanted to showcase the Jewish population in a positive way while also highlighting some flaws. We are so proud that we were very careful to incorporate and show a vast spectrum of Jewish people and how different kinds of Jews live their lives. I want to make certain and clear that I love being a Jew. I think religions all have beautiful pieces in them. The issues I had with my world had nothing to do with Judaism. And I think that message really came across, that it's a show about love and accepting each other for who you are. My daughters and I, and even my son, have received tens of thousands of messages from people in our community and people from the communities around the world saying, please, please don't stop. Please continue speaking for us. We are too afraid to speak, but your speaking gives us courage. I had one young woman tell me that because of the show, she decided not to commit suicide. She was literally in the midst of planning her own demise, and then she watched the show and it changed her mind. But it hasn't changed all minds. Backlash. Because not only has my unorthodox life been challenged by the fundamentalist community, aka Orthodox Jews, her story as a whole has been challenged. Some are saying that her talks about being held captive in the Jewish community wasn't true, and has even said that her show is a quote, house of mirrors that is meant to push her upward while bashing the people she was with before. And it also doesn't help that she's telling the story while being incredibly rich, and Julia herself is the head of a major business. So what is the truth here? You might just have to watch and figure it out for yourself. So what do you think of this look at the show My Unorthodox Life and how the cast is and what's really going on behind the scenes with them all? Have you watched this show yet? And if so, what do you think about it? Do you feel that this shows that Netflix is really trying to grasp at straws to see what works and what doesn't? Let us know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe, and we'll see you next time on the channel.